Welcome to our video series on user experience measurement and analysis. In this video series, we're going to discuss how to measure and analyze your company's user experience. We'll also spend a little time discussing what exactly user experience is, why it matters, and then give you some tips and tools to use when measuring and analyzing the experience people have interacting with your company. To get things started, let's talk about what user experience is. User experience is the overall experience a person has when interacting with your company. This starts with your marketing, including your website, but it continues into the experience people have with your product or service after a purchase is made. Ultimately, user experience is how people perceive and interact with your company in all aspects of your business. The better your user experience, the more likely it is people will want to do business with you. How do you make your user experience better? Well, at Elementive, we found it starts with measuring how satisfied your users are when interacting with your company. Measuring satisfaction requires knowing how well you're meeting your customers' expectations. When a potential customer finds your website, or somewhere else online, or even finds you through another marketing or sales material, they have things they expect to find out about your company. Do you meet those expectations? Are your images and text and messages in line with what people really wanted to find? The more you meet those expectations, the more people will want to work with your company. The same is true when somebody makes a purchase and begins working with your company. Those people, your customers, have some expectation about what they're going to get out of the product or service they've just purchased. You want to know if their expectations are being met. The point is, the better you meet the expectations of your customers, the more people will want to work with you, and the more people will want to engage with your company. And that means you'll have more customers. This will also translate to more people referring new business your way. The other area to measure within user experience is how painful it is for people to interact with your company. Now, none of us want to think that it's hard for people to interact with our company, but every company has some kind of pain point. When a potential customer comes to your website, they have those expectations about what they want to see from you. Anything that gets in the way of meeting those expectations is a pain point. That could be a clunky design, slow speeds, errors, making your website design more unusable, or even content that doesn't speak the user's language. And keep in mind, pain points exist not just on your website, but in all marketing materials, online and offline. The problem is, the more painful the user experience, the more people will be driven away from your organization. You may have a great product. It may be the best in the world in your industry, and it may really meet the customer's expectations, but maybe people will never actually become a customer because there's just so much pain getting in their way. Ultimately, then, what you're aiming for in your user experience is more people wanting to work with you, and fewer people being driven away by the pain of working with you. Now, there are a few common situations you may find yourself in. First, we see a lot of companies that focus on removing pain. They fix technical errors and they simplify their website's usability. They fix other pain points that exist elsewhere online and even offline. But they don't focus on the other side of the equation. Are you meeting the user's expectations? Sure, you may have a website that is super easy to use, but does anybody even want to use this website? Can people even get what it is you do from your marketing and sales materials? If not, as is sometimes the case, the situation means failure for your business. The other situation we see quite often is companies who focus on meeting expectations while ignoring how painful it is to work with your company. These companies may have a great product, and the product may meet people's expectations. It could also be that these companies have content that meets the expectations of potential customers. They know their customers so well, and they work really hard crafting marketing and products that really meet people's expectations, and that's great. But the problem is their website or other marketing materials are so painful to interact with that nobody wants to do business with this company. That could also be that people cannot even find this company online. It could be that it's just really difficult to place an order with this company. And sadly, when there's that much pain, the majority of people simply won't bother working with this company, no matter how great the company's product may actually be. We know what happens in this situation. If pain gets in the way, that pain drives away customers. And if you're driving away your customers, your company is going to fail. What you're aiming for then is a balance between these two. You want to focus on meeting the expectations of your users in every area of your business, from marketing to sales to product to service delivery. You want to know what your customers expect, and you want to do your best to deliver on that. At the same time, you want to make every area of your business as easy as possible to work with so that you don't degrade your user experience and drive people away. Right now, at your company, you have some kind of user experience, whether you've intentionally thought about it or not. The question isn't, how do I create a good user experience? Instead, the question is, how do you know where you're at? How do you know if you're meeting your users' expectations? Which scenario are you in? Are you working really hard to reduce the pain of interacting with your organization, but ignoring the expectations your customers have? Or are you meeting those expectations of your customers, but nobody knows because there's just too much pain getting in the way? Ultimately, how do you strike the balance? There are lots of ways to measure this and see where you fall on this balance and which scenario you may be in. In this video series, we're going to discuss 3 ways to measure this that we think are the most helpful. We want to talk about these to give you insight into how you may go about answering these questions. Our goal is to help you gain better understanding of the process you would take to understand your company's user experience. The methods we're going to discuss are surveying, perception testing, and usability testing. In the next video, we'll start by discussing surveying and the important role it plays in user experience.